Lord, can I begin by being honest? Sometimes I wonder, what if today had been the last day I woke up? What if my heart had stopped in the silence of dawn, without me even realizing it? Would I be ready to meet you? I know it wasn't me who kept my chest beating, nor was it me who held the invisible thread that kept my life going. It was your breath, and only your breath. And it's curious how I get used to it, as if it were my right to open my eyes each morning. But isn't that precisely where ingratitude begins? When I turn a daily miracle into routine. I speak to you now as if trying to hear myself, because I know my haste robs me of wonder. I look at the little things, the food on my plate, the bed that held me at night, the roof that sheltered me from the rain, and I realize I don't even call them blessings anymore. I call them normal. But since when does normal exist without your hand? Since when did breathing become so banal? If every breath is proof that your patience with me hasn't run out. And yet, how often do I start the day without even thanking you? Why is it so easy to remember what's missing, but so hard to see what's left? It's strange, Father, how my heart always rushes to what it doesn't have, but stumbles before what it has already received. And this pains me, because I know gratitude should be the tone of my life, not a forgotten detail. Maybe that's why I'm here, confessing, almost venting. I have to admit, just talking to you now is a gift. Who can guarantee I'd still have time? How many left today without a chance to talk to you again? But I, small as I am, still have this privilege. Do I value it as I should? I think about everything I don't see. Did your hand save me from an accident yesterday? Could it be that today's no was actually a wall built to protect me from something worse? How many times have I complained about closed doors, never imagining that your mercy was hidden there? It's disconcerting, Lord, because I realize I've judged you so many times without knowing the end of the story. And now I find myself asking, does a truly grateful heart emerge when it learns to trust even what it doesn't understand? Could it be that the deepest gratitude is precisely this, to be thankful not only for the bread on the table, but also for the hunger that taught me to depend on you? Not only for the home that shelters me, but also for the nights of uncertainty that taught me to trust? My God, I don't want to live on autopilot anymore. I don't want your kindness to become a background noise I no longer even notice. I want to recapture the awe, the reverence, the thrill of understanding that everything I am and everything I have comes from you. I want to be moved again by the simple fact of being alive, because perhaps that's where the essence of faith lies. Living as if every detail were a message from you. And do you know what scares me? To think that without your mercy, I would be dust. If your love ceased for even a second, everything would fall apart. And yet I insist on thinking I'm self-sufficient, master of my own life. How can that be? How can clay forget the potter who shaped it? So I tell you, I'm tired of only looking at the shortcomings. I want to learn to see the excess of care, provision, and love. I want my mouth to open not just to ask, but to give thanks. Because when I give thanks, the weight of the world becomes lighter, and even pain finds meaning. And this is where I find myself with you, God, here, in this space between confession and hope, recognizing that I don't belong to myself, recognizing that I depend on you even for the next second. But a question still remains in my heart. If I've already received so much, if I've already been so protected, what is it that I still don't understand? What blessings are hidden in the unseen, waiting for my eyes to finally open and see? God, can I confess something to you? Sometimes I spend the whole day surrounded by miracles and don't notice a single one. I walk, breathe, speak, hear, eat, and none of it surprises me. I call routine what is actually provision. I call chance what is actually care. But why does my heart so quickly become accustomed to the extraordinary? Is man born with this strange tendency to forget what he should keep close to his heart every day? Today, for example, my feet carried me without me thinking about them. My hands touched simple things without me remembering that there are people who would give anything to feel the movement of their fingers again. My eyes contemplated colors, lights, details, and how many times have I truly stopped to give thanks for this privilege? How many, Lord, live in the eternal darkness of their eyes, and yet find reasons to smile, while I with so much complain as if I had little. And the most intriguing thing is that when I lose something, only then do I realize its value. When pain strikes, I remember the health I neglected. When loss appears, I remember the abundance that once surrounded me. Do I need to constantly lose to recognize what I have? Do I need silence to scream to understand that its voice has always been there? Father, what amazes me most is how human beings are quick to ask and slow to give thanks. Why does my heart fill with words when I want something, but empty when it's time to acknowledge it? Is it out of pride? Is it because deep down I still believe I deserve more than I have? I think about my daily bread. How many call it luck? How many say it was just work? But who gives me the strength to wake up early? Who gives me the health to bear the weight of toil? Who opens the door to opportunity at the right moment? It's not chance. It's not luck. It's your invisible hand. But how many times have I treated you as if you were invisible too? And here within me arises another conflict. If I recognize that everything comes from you, why do I so often live as if nothing depended on you? Could it be that ingratitude isn't just a lack of words, but a lack of awareness? Could it be that living gratefully isn't just saying thank you, but walking knowing that every detail is grace? I don't want, Lord, to be one who only realizes the value of water when the well runs dry. I want to be one who learns to kneel before every full cup, every simple meal, every night I sleep without fear. I don't want to call small what cost you your care. And yet I realize gratitude is a choice. Either I choose to see or I go through life blind. And perhaps, Father, the greatest miracle is not in receiving something great, but in waking up to the ordinary and realizing that the ordinary was never ordinary. It was always your hidden extraordinary. But I still wonder, if there's already so much to be thankful for, why does my soul still insist on feeling empty? What is this hole that no material possession can fill? What is this thirst that no glass of natural water can quench? Does true gratitude begin when I understand that it's not things that complete me, but your presence? Lord, there's something that always intrigues me. Why so often did your no hurt me more than any silence? How many times I begged on my knees, cried, pleaded, and still the door remained closed before me. At the time, I confess, I thought it was rejection. I thought you'd forgotten me, that perhaps I wasn't worthy of your attention. But today, looking back, I realize that every no carried within it an I protected you. And this scares me, because I realize how many things I would have accepted without question, how many paths I would have followed without noticing the abyss ahead. I, so limited, asked for things that could have destroyed me. I asked for relationships that would have shattered my soul, jobs that would have distanced me from your voice, opportunities that seemed like golden doors but hid invisible prisons. And you, as Father, chose to endure my incomprehension, only to preserve me. But why is it so hard for me to accept care when it comes in the form of denial? Why is my heart so quick to accuse you of abandonment when, in fact, you're freeing me from a weight I can't see? Is my faith still so childish that it only recognizes love when it receives gifts? I think about this and see myself as a stubborn child, asking for a sharp object because it shines in my eyes, not understanding that it can hurt me. And you, even hearing my cries, don't give it to me. You prefer to endure my momentary disappointment than to see my blood flow from recklessness. That's what you are, Lord. A Father who doesn't fear being misunderstood, but is faithful in protecting me. And the strangest thing is that years later, when I look back, I clearly realize, if you had said yes to everything I asked for, I wouldn't be here anymore. How many falls would have destroyed my faith? How many quick victories would have fueled my pride? How many dreams I so desired would have turned into nightmares that would have separated me from you? Yet, even knowing this, my heart insists on fighting. Why, Lord? Why is it so often so much easier to trust what I see than what you see? Could it be that complete trust only arises when I accept that my vision is always short-sighted, always cloudy, always partial? Today I learn that your no is not rejection, but mercy, that your waiting is not neglect, but preparation, that your delay is not absence, but perfect timing in motion. And I ask myself, how many miracles have happened precisely because you denied me something? How many times has my life been saved behind a response I called frustration? And then I realize, true gratitude isn't just celebrating what I've received, but also praising what I haven't. The deepest gratitude arises when I recognize that your wisdom is greater than my desires, that your care is greater than my plans, that your love is greater than my expectations. But there remains a restlessness within me, Lord. If your no is care, if your waiting is protection, then what should I do when I still don't understand? How can I give heartfelt thanks when the wound is still open? How can I trust when the answer hasn't yet arrived? Lord, I can't escape this question that echoes within me. Why the cross? Why did the path of love have to pass through the path of pain? When I close my eyes and try to imagine, I see the weight of a wood that wasn't yours. I hear the mocking cries that weren't fair. I feel the shame that didn't belong to you. And yet, it was you who carried it all. Why? Because I couldn't bear it. And that's where my heart breaks. You chose the suffering that was mine. You accepted the punishment that was mine. You embraced the death I deserved. There was nothing in me that justified this gesture. No goodness sufficient. No purity that compensated. Yet you chose to go all the way. What kind of love is this, Lord, that looks upon guilt and responds with surrender? What kind of love is this that does not shy away from blood, but sheds it as an eternal seal of mercy? And the more I think, the more I realize. The cross is the place where all your silence finds voice. When I don't understand the no's, when I don't understand the waiting, when I feel the weight of emptiness, I just need to look to Calvary, because there is no doubt. You love me. Even when you don't respond as I expect, even when life seems confusing, the cross remains the final answer. But at the same time, this certainty creates conflict in me. How can I live knowing that my sin cost you your pain? How can I move on so easily knowing that every misstep added weight to your cross? I say I believe, but do I truly understand the depth of that sacrifice? Or have I become insensitive to the greatest proof of love that ever existed? What amazes me most is that you weren't defeated by men, nor defeated by nails. It wasn't the soldiers who held you there. It was your decision. You could have gone down. You could have silenced everyone with a single word, but you chose to stay. Who would do that, Lord? Who would you choose to suffer when you could simply turn away? And here another question arises. What do you expect from me in light of this? If you've given everything, what do I offer you in return? My words seem too small, my gestures fragile, my prayers brief in the face of such immense love. But perhaps what you expect isn't payment, but surrender. Not to give back in kind, but simply to live in a way that reflects your surrender. Lord, teach me not to treat the cross as a distant symbol, but as a living reminder. May my every decision bear the mark of your sacrifice. May my every word reveal the echo of your love. May my every act be a response to your surrender. For if the cross was your choice, then living in gratitude must be mine. But there's still something I can't help but ask. If you agreed to die for me, if you gave everything without hesitation, how can I, so fragile, honor that every day? Don't I risk losing myself again? Don't I risk forgetting, trivializing, turning your pain into routine? Lord, do you know what scares me? How easily I forget. Yesterday I cried for an answer. Today I've lost myself in complaints. And tomorrow I might beg again as if I'd never been answered. It's as if my heart were a bottomless well, always thirsty, always demanding more. But when I look calmly, I realize I already have more than I deserve. I've been surrounded by blessings beyond my comprehension. I think about the air I breathe, and I realize I never had to fight for it. I think about the body that sustains me, and I understand that, even tired, it still works. I think about food, which I so often thought was insufficient, but which was always present. And then I ask myself, how many times have you fed me when I didn't even realize it? How many times have you put what I needed on the table, even when my faith told me it would be impossible? But it's not just what I see, Lord. What intrigues me are the unseen deliverances. How many accidents have not happened because your hand has diverted me? How many enemies have not reached me because your presence surrounded me? How many nights have I slept in peace, not knowing it could have been my last? And what have I done to deserve this? Nothing, and that is precisely what makes it all so precious. Your grace is not based on merit, but on love. Even so, I confess, I am ungrateful. Because instead of looking at all I have, I fix my eyes on what is missing. Instead of appreciating what I have received, I chase after what has not yet arrived. And I ask myself, could I bear the truth of all the dangers from which I have been protected? Or could my fragile mind not bear to see how much I have already been rescued without knowing it? And then I realize, Lord, gratitude isn't just a list of good things, it's a way of life. It's learning to see grace even in difficult days, to perceive goodness even in narrow paths, to recognize your hand even when my eyes can't see. Gratitude isn't closing our eyes to pain, but opening them to see that even in pain there is purpose. But here arises another conflict. How can I maintain this grateful heart when circumstances scream against me? How can I give thanks when the table is empty, when my body is weak, when hope seems absent? Perhaps it is then, Lord, that gratitude becomes most real. Not when everything is in order, but when, even in the midst of chaos, I choose to say, "You are enough," and I want to learn this. I want my mouth to not be silent in the face of everyday miracles. I want my soul to not treat as trivial what cost you your care. I want to live each day as if it were an unexpected gift, because deep down, that's exactly what it is. But a question still lingers in my heart. If every detail of life is a reason for gratitude, how can I transform that gratitude into something greater than words? How can I make it not just a fleeting emotion, but a lifestyle that touches everything around me? Lord, what if today were the last day I could speak to you? If these were the last words I ever spoke before heaven, what would I say? Would I spend this moment asking for something more? Or would I finally understand that everything I needed has already been given to me in you? I think about this and realize there is no truer prayer than one that bursts into praise, not because life is perfect, but because you are worthy even when nothing else makes sense. I look back and see your hand in every detail. In the days I smiled without realizing your joy sustained me, and in the days I cried believing I was alone, when in truth your presence carried me on its shoulders. How many times have I walked aimlessly and yet not lost my way? How many times have I distanced myself from you, but never been forgotten? There is something in your love that defies logic. It depends not on my fidelity, but on your nature. And this leaves me conflicted. For how can I praise proportionately a love that knows no measure? I lift my hands now, not as someone offering something great, but as someone surrendering because they no longer have anything to hide. Praise, Lord, may not be about the strength of my voice, but about the surrender of my heart. And that's what I want to give you. Not just words, but life. Not just songs, but choices. Not just promises, but steps that reveal that I am yours. But there's something that still troubles me. Why is it so often easier to praise when I'm surrounded by blessings, and so difficult when the night is dark? Is my praise still conditioned? Do I only know how to sing when I receive, but fall silent when I lose? I want to break this, Father. I want my praise to be free, to be true, to be greater than circumstances. Because if the cross was enough to shout to the world that I am loved, then no pain can silence that response. And here I prostrate myself, Lord, with all that I am, with my joy and my failures, with my dreams and my losses, with my past and my future. I place everything before you and declare, you are King, not a distant king on golden thrones, but the King who came down to walk with me, who washed the feet of humanity, who took the dust of the earth and called it his Son. This is the King I worship. This is the Lord to whom I give my life. And if I wake up tomorrow, it will be by grace. If I breathe again, it will be by mercy. If I still have the strength to walk, it will be by love. Everything in me depends on you, and everything in me points to you. May every beat of my heart be a silent song. May every look be a hidden prayer. May every gesture be an invisible altar. But I still wonder, what if my praise spreads to others? What if my grateful life becomes a beacon for those walking in darkness? Perhaps that's the greater purpose, not just to be blessed, but to be a living testament that your goodness never fails. Therefore, Lord, I close this prayer not with a period, but with a declaration. May my praise never end. May my amen be just the beginning of a life that glorifies you in everything. For you are eternal, and only eternal praise can respond to a love that never ends.